Put that dish in your mouth.
So, Citrine's Wish was released yesterday, and with it came a new defense mission, new weapons, some nerfs, and a new Warframe, of course, our 50-second Warframe, Citrine, who is really solid. I mean, I know some players aren't too fond of her visuals, but her abilities are really good. Some might even say fresh. So her passive is a heal over time aura for herself and teammates that starts off at about 5 health a second, I think, and maxes out at about 25, and it is within range of affinity. So once your teammates are within affinity range, they're going to get the benefit of this aura. Her first ability is called Fractured Blast, which will spread status effects and stagger enemies, but killing enemies under this effect will cause them to drop health and energy orbs. This will scale off power strength. The higher your power strength is, the more chance it has of dropping health and energy orbs. Right now, my build, I have 108% chance of dropping a health orb and 40-ish chance to drop an energy orb, which this ability alone for your teammates would be such a huge help. The amount of red and blue candy on the ground is going to be crazy. Her second ability, Preserved Shell, is a damage reduction aura within affinity range again that degrades if you stop killing. Power Strength again will allow you to instantly have a 90% damage reduction on initial cast. It'll start to scale down from that point if you don't keep killing enemies, and it'll do that once your power strength is high enough. It can be recast while active to refresh it if you need it as well, but Power Strength will also dictate how fast it scales up from kills by you, and of course assists, which is kills by your teammates. So if you have a really high power strength, it's going to scale up faster. If you have a low power strength, then it's going to scale up quite slow. Now her third ability, which is the one I'm really not fond of, is her Prismatic Gem. She pops down, I read that as poops down, a giant, that's a totally different image. She pops down a giant gem. Compose yourself, John. She pops down a giant gem that targets enemies one at a time that you are targeting or that your Fractured Blast has damaged. It will then jump from enemy to enemy, spreading status procs, but the damage is quite low. It will spread heat, cold, electric, and toxin, but like I said, it flits from enemy to enemy, kind of one at a time, so it's more of a primer than anything else. Now I have subsumed Terrify from Necros onto my Citrine in place of this ability because it works really well on most frames nowadays. Now her fourth ability is Crystallize, and it's very particle heavy, almost hard to see what's going on at times when you cast it, but she will jump up, slam down, causing a wave of crystals to then snake their way towards enemies and immobilize them, leaving them with a giant crystal on their body somewhere. Shooting this crystal will give you red crits, since the ability gives you a bonus of 300% crit chance for this reason. The crystals on enemies kind of reminds me heavily of Deep Rock Galactic, the events in some of those missions. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know. This ability can freeze acolytes, some bosses, and while it can't immobilize Eximus units or ones with Overguard, it can still put the crystal on them, which is a really nice feature that allows you to burn those enemy types down really quickly. Now, I've had acolytes face down on the ground, unable to move while I absolutely execute them. So that's her whole kit. She has a constant 90% damage reduction if you can keep it up and keep casting it, which works really well in combination with adaptation. She has a constant heal over time for you and teammates. She has crowd control with the immobilize of the fourth ability and a 300% crit bonus on crystal targets, and she also has an endless supply of health and energy orbs. Like I said, I've combined this with Terrify to reduce armor by 100%, and of course with Creeping Terrify, the augment, it'll stop enemies from running away. But if you don't want to use the Creeping Terrify augment, you can just cast her fourth ability first, which will root them in place, then cast Terrify, which will completely strip all of their armor, which will allow you to one-shot them because you're getting the 300% crit chance from those crystals. Now, as far as how I went about modding her, this is how I've set my Citrine up without subsuming on config A and with Terrify in its place on config B. I don't run endless missions, so I don't really care too much about shield gating. Feel free to swap out whatever the hell you want. It's your frame, your game. Go nuts. Growing Power and Molt Augmented will pop my power strength up to give me 90% damage reduction. It takes one enemy kill in game or just shooting one enemy and I'm good to go. Then it's just about keeping the ability refreshed. Arcane Blessing will scale my health up to about 2000 since she has 100% chance of dropping health orbs. I have got 3 blue Archon shards, 1 orange and 1 red, and Equilibrium will give me an endless supply of energy since I'm running Blind Rage. Now, there are many subsumed abilities you could run on your Citrine if you wanted to. Gloom, Eclipse, Nourish, the list goes on, right? I think with Creeping Terrify combined with her 1 and her 4, it allows you to wipe out enemies really quickly since they're immobilized and have 0 armor. Which, once you've got the first ability active, those slash effects on enemies, it allows you to keep getting those red and blue candy balls for yourself and for your teammates. Now, to farm Citrine, you will have to run the new Mirror Defense mission and hope her blueprints drop. Or you can get enough of the new currency from running that defense mission and then just go and buy them off OTAC in Deimos. But let me know what you think of Citrine in the comment section below once you have her, once you get your hands on her, once she's built. Now, I have got both of her new weapons fully formatted and ready to go for videos right now. Now, her shotgun, I'm not a huge fan of. I think I've got 4, maybe 5 format at the minute, and it just feels a little bit weaker than a lot of my favorite weapons right now. That's not to say that it's not good. It's still quite fun, and on normal missions, it's going to shred enemies, but just once you bring in Steel Path, it does seem to struggle just a little bit. But then again, maybe I need to tweak my build a little. The huge gunblade, the scythe, the huge new 2-handed scythe that turns into a gunblade is really, really nice. I really like the heavy attack on it, and it is a lot of fun. The size of the projectile you shoot seems to have a very wide range for the projectile. Now, apologies for the kind of slow upload on this video. I'm a little bit behind time. I have been having a little bit, very, very minor heart issues at the minute that I just needed to get checked out yesterday. Typical, it happened as the fucking update dropped, but it is what it is. Let me know what you think of the 2 new weapons, of the defense mission as well, which I'm really, really enjoying. I kind of wish our other defense missions were more like it now in terms of how those kind of waves are working. But anyway, have a great day, and as always, thanks for watching.
I've been giving you the worst.